Oh my god, it has been hot this month. Barely any rain. The grass is getting crunchy. This is weather that we typically see in August, not in October. Now, October can get some dry spells, but not usually this oppressive heat. In fact, with so many clear skies, the nights have been getting a little bit chilly around here, even at the lower elevations, but the days quickly heat up. Whereas in locations like Kona or other areas on the west side, you might have been seeing rain this month. But I think all that's about to change. There's a swell coming in, and normally that means there's a weather system coming with it. So I think that we're going to get back into our normal October weather patterns pretty soon. And that means we have a little bit more time to plan out our winter and spring gardens before the makahiki season sets in. So let's get to it. If you're down by the coast where things get a little bit warmer, you may still be able to get away with planting some of those warm season crops like tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, and eggplants. But for the rest of us, it's probably best to hold off on planting any of those and save them for the spring. And instead, we want to plant some of those other veggies that prefer the shorter days and the cooler nights. The upper elevations can do pretty well by planting some cool season herbs, such as oregano, thyme, parsley, cilantro, as well as some other leafy greens and cole crops. If you're in that sweet spot between 500 and 2,000 feet, there's plenty of crops you could be planting right now, including Brussels sprouts, carrots, cabbage, celery, collards, chard, chives, kale, leeks and lettuce, green and long day bulb onions, parsley, peas, radishes, and spinach. Sowing bulb onion seeds now will result in larger bulbs and less bolting in the spring than if you bought sets from the store. Just make sure that you're in a dry location with a slightly higher elevation to grow out these bulb onions. Otherwise, it's green onions for you. You could also be transplanting sweet potato, kalo, ava, pia or arrowroot, sugar cane, established herbs such as comfrey, sage, and thyme, and a whole plethora of other crops. October is getting into a time of abundance, when the big game fish are plentiful, and when the pu'a'a seem to just jump into the emu pits. And the ulu trees are ripe with abundance, along with an abundance of abus, avocado, bananas, Bartlett pears, cacao, coffee, oranges, tangerines, Suriname cherries, lilikoi, guava, coconut, sugarcane, ginger, turmeric, kalo, sweet potato, ava, lemons, dragon fruit, rollinia, soursop, papaya, mangosteen, squash, and a whole host of other fruits and veggies. One plant in particular that is ready to harvest in abundance this time of year is the kiave. The kiave grows in abundance on the west side of the islands, and all their pods are dropping right now. Many people don't know this, but the kiave pods are a great source of food. There are people who are beginning to turn these pods into a protein-rich flour that could be used in baking. Next time you're on the west side, don't overlook this abundant crop. If you're looking for more detail on what to harvest throughout the year in Hawaii, I'm putting together a month by month in the garden ebook series that should be available by December of 2022. In it, you'll have harvest and planting charts. You'll have a checklist of things to do for the season, and you'll also have a complete list of plants that could be grown in different parts of the islands. Pretty sure it's something you're going to want to check out. But in the meantime, if you like these videos and you want to keep seeing more, you can show your appreciation by hitting the like button down below, by using this link to do your shopping on Amazon, and if you're into it, you could leave a few bucks by hitting the thanks button just below this video. Things are finally starting to slow down this month in the garden. I only have to mow the lawn once a month now. I hate mowing. I love it when this time of year comes around. I'm also finishing up any pruning that needs to be done. I prune my fruit trees after they're done fruiting, and I start to really cut back my nitrogen fixing trees that are bigger so that I can allow more light into my food forest during the winter months. I normally just drop the prunings in place to provide a mulch for the plants in my garden. This does wonders in building up the thin tropical soils that we have around here. If you have any animals, this would be a good time to clean out their homes before the winter rains come in. Everybody likes a clean place to sleep at night, including the sheep and the chickens. And if you have hooved animals, go ahead and trim their hooves right now so that you limit the chance of them getting any hoof rot when the winter rains show up. My chickens have already gone through their fall laying, Any babies that did hatch are pullets by now, and there aren't many eggs being found right now to harvest for the kitchen. If you're planning on transplanting any trees, this is a great time to get it done. Just realize that you may have to water them by hand for a while until the rains begin to take over. And I also like to use this time of the month to clear out any plants from last season that may still be in the garden. Turmeric, ginger, and yacon have all about finished doing their thing and could benefit from being harvested and pulled out of the ground. So I like to clear out those beds and make sure they're de-weeded and then add a little compost. And I might be able to squeeze in a little short season crop such as collards or kale before I go ahead and replant it in the spring. Other than that, it's time to rejoice. The makahiki season is almost here. It may even start as early as the end of the month when the Pleiades show themselves on the eastern horizon right at dusk. When that happens, your work in the garden is done. Finally, you get to catch up on all that other stuff you have to do. Pest problems are starting to slow down slightly. Whiteflies, aphids, and fire ants can still be a problem, and slugs are starting to show up a little more at night in larger numbers. Just make sure to keep up on them with your pest management plan, and you should be doing all right. If you want to learn how to effectively manage fire ants and keep their numbers in check, the Big Island Invasive Species Council has created this video for you to check out. Since you're already doing so much pruning this month, you can double up and propagate some of those plants at the same time. Plants like ulu, lychee, and rambutan can all be air layered, and then when they're rooting, you can just cut those branches that you're going to prune anyways. Plants like katuk, chaya, and moringa can be taken cuttings of and rooted out pretty easily this time of year if you just add regular water. The more that you propagate now, the more that you can plant this spring, or the more you can share with your neighbors to increase their food resiliency. It's a win-win for everybody. Personally, I'm done fertilizing for the season. I got it all done last month. I like to make sure that I am fertilizing my trees when they're actively growing. And in the winter, they tend to slow down a little bit. But if you didn't get the chance to fertilize last month, this is the last good month to get it done. I like to use different types of manures, such as chicken manure, cow manure, or horse manure. Some store-bought fertilizers, like from companies that are organic, like Down to Earth. They have great fertilizer products. I like to spread some wood ash or biochar into the garden, increase that potash content. Once every few years, I'll spread some dolomite into the garden. And once in a while, I'll whip up some natural farming solutions. And I'll foliar spray with some fish emulsion and kelp meal. Just remember not to use fertilizers that are too strong. That could really hurt your plants around here. Like always, it's best to get a soil sample, see what you're working with, and then spread out your amendments from there. If you're curious to learn about how to get your fruit trees to grow faster, check out this video right here. Otherwise, I'll be back next month with another video in this month by month What to Do in the Garden series here in Hawaii. So till next time, ahui ho.